Hi, my name is Richard. I am from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, to be exact. And I live here in Boquete now, in Panama, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite places here in Panama to be. So I knew nothing about Panama 2018. And then in 2019, I was given the opportunity to come to film here. And I was quite blown away by what Panama was. It was not what I expected of a Latin American country. Landing in the airport, I thought I took the wrong Panama City flight because I thought I was landing in Miami. Skyscrapers everywhere, big city kind of vibe. In that same year, I came back twice and I was able to visit Boquete. I was able to visit Playa Venao. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to be here a lot more often because there's so much to capture here. I'm a cinematographer by profession. And lo and behold, I came back here in the beginning of 2020, when, of course, the whole world collapsed. And I got stuck here on the mountains in Boquete for a year and a half because I could not go back to Trinidad. It's an island. It's a very small country. And they had their doors closed for a very long time. That's how I ended up here in Boquete specifically, but in Panama, it was just following a television show that I was filming for, and then was blown away by the place when I got here. The first thing I knew about Boquete was when I told my mom that I was coming here to film. I never heard about the place or anything like that. And she, like, her eyes lit up. She got excited. She was like, that's a place I want to retire in. It's one of the top retirement places in the world. She had Ecuador on her list. She had Portugal on her list, and Boquete was number one. I'm like, okay, cool, exciting, whatever. I'm just going to go there to film. And then I got here, and I grew up in a valley in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not as cool temperatures, it's not as high elevation as this. But I grew up in a valley and I absolutely loved it. There were waterfalls, there were many mountains to climb in, and I had a bunch of friends there. We were riding bikes throughout the mountains and all of that. So this is very similar to that. As much as it's coined one of the top retirement destinations in the world, when I got here, I understood based on the population. Like, I was like, okay, there's a lot of older folks here who are in retirement age, and they're enjoying life, they're enjoying the fresh air and the fruits and vegetables you can get here. That was in 2020. As the years went by, up to 2023, I started seeing a bunch of young folks coming in, from kids to teenagers to young adults like myself. So I started building almost like a little community of younger folks who like adventures and so on. And now we're in 2025. And if I just go down to the town now, there is, I would say 50-50 older folks and younger folks now, and on any given Saturday are out and about enjoying what Boquete has to offer. Finding business opportunities and networking is extremely easy in the city. I would say that. It's almost like serendipitous when you would meet certain people who are aligned with the things that you like, because it's such a melting pot of just expats and people who are into just enjoying life. I think Panama attracts that energy, that vibe. So again, this is not something I knew before I came here, but with every outing we would go to, every networking, because there are scheduled networking things that happen, around real estate, around finance and so on. There are a bunch of different events that happen in Panama City. There are other ones that are more informal, where you just kind of get outside and you meet people. And every single time you do, you just end up meeting so many interesting people here. In Boquete, it's not as easy. Of course, it's a lot smaller place. This is more of a touristic destination than Panama City is like a commerce heavy place, But yet, I still meet a lot of people based on the fact that I like mountains, I like doing 4x4 action, I like mountain biking. And this is the kind of destination people who are into those things would come to. So I am still able to meet and have those kind of connections with people here. It's very easy. The locals are very friendly. The expats that come here, very friendly, and they are, again, aligned with the kind of things that I like. When I first got locked down in the COVID thing that happened in 2020, Jackie was the one to kind of help me out to find a place to rent. And she ended up being the one to kind of help me find some of my first clients here for real estate filming. She was very, very, very helpful. Now that I've been here for 5 years, I have actually built a clientele of very large developers and real estate brokers that have helped kind of elevate the quality of real estate videos that are coming out of Panama. I even have a secret, not so secret, project of my own where I kind of showcase luxury properties in Panama. I have a project that just showcases that, of Panama, so that people understand that, okay, This place has a lot going on. So every month I travel to Panama City, and for a week I fill with, developers, brokers, other clients that I would have over there. And then I spend 3 weeks here in Boquete, editing, filming other projects here, etc. But I would like to move away from that entirely. There's a 10-year project that I want to take on that will make Panama and Boquete be known for coffee and mountain biking. The canvas is there. There's mountains everywhere, all around us. But there's no real culture around mountain biking here. No single track. I mean, yes, you can ride on the streets through the mountains where all the other cars are, but there's no real single track, especially gravity-fed mountain bike trails here. By the beginning of next year, I would like to open up at least 3 trails here that I already have in mind, that I already started talking to finca owners and so on. And it has the elevation and the potential. So yeah, that's where I'm headed. And hopefully that makes me a decent buck, that I can maintain my lifestyle here, Don't expect as an entrepreneur to come here and everything just clicks like in the US. It's not a consumer's paradise here. It's very laid back. So they have what you call the mañana mentality. And it's an adjustment that you have to kind of, like I'm still going through that mentally. People sleep here, people wake up, they are happy, they go along their merry lives, and business comes second. Happiness comes first. This is what I have understood. Whereas in other places in the world where it is a consumer's paradise, people aren't sleeping. They don't look happy, and they're constantly on the go. Here, it does not happen like that. And you almost have to kind of bring yourself down from that, go, go, go mentality, and just realize, okay, you can still get what you need to get done. Like, you can still have a thriving business here. And you can bring all of your values of, offering a great service on time with you as the owner of the business. However, just be prepared that it will take a little longer with that mañana mentality. And once you've kind of accepted that, then you can have a lot of calm here in running a business as well. When I first came here, people were like, why would you go to Boquete? Yes, it's pretty. Yes, it's nice to visit, but it's a very slow paced life. There's no nightclubs. There's no, things like the city. Like, kids love to live in the city. Me, for my lifestyle, I guess I'm not so much of a kid anymore. I'm 41 years old now. So I've had that. And the thing is, I'm still very active and adventurous. So for my lifestyle, Boquete was the perfect place for me, where you still have access to all the amenities that you would have in the city. And I mean, like, there are nightclubs if I want to go dance, but there's more live music here than nightclubs. I appreciate music, so going to certain places like the Boquete Brewery and actually experiencing live music is fantastic for me when I decide I want to go out. I'm not really a nightlife person, but when I do, there's nightlife, there's entertainment, there's over 100 restaurants of all different types from all over the world, and all of it, or the majority of it, is really good. Like, I like to eat. You mightn't look it, but I love to eat. I love tastes. You have restaurants that are more dedicated to lunch. You have restaurants that are more dedicated to like a night dinner experience. It just ranges. And I absolutely love the fact that as an active adventure seeker here, who loves 4x4 things, who loves mountain biking, who loves rock climbing, all of that is here. There's zip lining. There's a long list of activities that you can do. An hour away, you can go down to La Boquete and surf when there's a good swell. 30 minutes from that, there's another spot called Los Olivos, which is even better. Like, there's quality A-frame waves coming in that you could go left and right. And once the swell is there, which is quite often on the Pacific, you're getting a good surf. And it's just an hour and a half away from here in Boquete. So the food is fantastic. The people are great. The nightlife is great. The daily activities, the adventures, the hiking. There's a lot to do here in Boquete. I play soccer, football, almost every week with a bunch of kids who are half my age, so I'm trying to keep up. But the thing is, I get out there and I get to play at 10 p.m. at night. The lights are on and there's like artificial turf, and I get to sweat it out, And that's another activity that I use to kind of stay fit and active. As far as the cost of living here, I just moved into this cabin here. This was on Airbnb. It's my girlfriend's cabin. We just moved in here. But before we were here, I was in a 4-bedroom house with her family, with an office space, kitchen, living area, big yard for the dogs to run. And we were only paying $500 rent for that place, which is unheard of back home for me. at least in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm not too familiar with how it is in the US or Canada, but I've spoken to enough people to understand that that's a ridiculous steal of a deal for a house. As far as eating, I buy my vegetables here, which are super cheap. And I would make, this is me specifically, make like a meal prep to kind of facilitate my workouts and so on. That would supply me for 3 to 4 days at a time. The cost of that would be the vegetables that I buy, a couple different groceries like butter and so on, and that's it. Literally $15 to $20. That can supply me to eat lunch for 3 days. If you include all the other things like toiletries and so on, it comes up to maybe $200, $300 a month, and that's living modestly. If I want to just be spoiled and buy ice cream and just be extravagant, I would go up to maybe $500 a month in meals. And this is for me and my girlfriend. Now that we've moved out of the bigger house, when we were there, it was much more people, and everybody was kind of pitching in to, for everybody to live. But just for the two of us now, it's so cheap. It's crazy. I could not have lived like this in Trinidad. So I'm actually quite comfortable not having medical insurance here because it's so affordable, but I feel like it is, like I owe it to myself and the people around me to have it. So it's something that I will eventually get into. I haven't researched it as to what's available yet, but so far I haven't felt the urgency to really need it based on the fact that I can just pay out of pocket. And was very surprised to see how affordable it was to just kind of get medical attention here. There have been only like a few times that it has happened, but most of the time it's in and out within an hour. It's no long waiting lines. It's been cheap, and I've been better within days of getting said injury. So I trust that it was good, like whatever practice or procedures that they use and the medication that they would have prescribed, it worked because I'm ready to go again. Outside of that, I've had a tooth removed here. It was a straightforward process. It was not expensive. I can't remember the exact figures now, but it's like $50, $60 to remove it, if I remember correctly, probably less. I've been here for 5 years, visited a year before that, and my Spanish is still horrible. And it's not something that I am particularly proud of. I really should be making the effort to get the language down because it does help in the daily life of just interacting with people here. If it's in a store, if it's during working, doing business, it does help. However, the fact that I've been here for 5 to 6 years and not needed to perfect the language and still be able to thrive says a lot. A lot of people here speak English. The ones that don't speak English, they are very patient with you when you're actually trying to communicate with them. And of course, in this day and age, the technology that you have on your phone with Google Translate and so on, it helps greatly if there's something that you're missing. That being said, it really helps. For example, it really helps to have Spanish if you're dealing with your car, because if you have to repair things on your car and there are certain parts that you may need to get, or you have to communicate this to a Panamanian. Panamanians have very different names for certain car parts, and you'd want to learn those names here so that you have a smoother process of having these done. If you can, before you even come to Panama, if you're considering it, I would say start some Duolingo or Spanish courses before you come here so that you have that extra step ahead. Safety is a touchy topic for me. What I grew up in 20, 30 years ago is not what Trinidad is now. I didn't feel safe to be in my own country, even though people were saying there are places that like little bubbles of safety around Trinidad that people wouldn't penetrate. And that hasn't been the case, especially of late, where it feels like nowhere is safe anymore. There was an adjustment when I actually got to Panama because I felt like I was always looking over my shoulder. I was always on edge. I was always ready for something to happen. And over the 5 years that I've been here, I've witnessed a decompression over that time. There's no perfect place. But as far as the safety goes, the safety that I've felt here, I've gone off-roading by myself for hours in places that I've never been, got stuck and had people come and help me. I've never once been robbed. I've never felt any aggression from people outside there when I'm doing these things. I go riding at any time of day or night, and I don't feel like somebody's going to take my bike. There have been times I've been out at 4 a.m. probably heading to a destination, and seeing a woman by herself running with headphones on while I'm going to said destination, and I'm like, this is crazy to me. How calm and safe these people are operating. And this is the lifestyle here. It's one of the main reasons that I've actually stayed in Panama. Since my first visit to Panama, and I realized what was happening here, I have been encouraging people to come here to visit. And then the longer that I actually stayed in Panama, I actually started encouraging people to come live here because of the opportunities that are here, entrepreneurial and otherwise. And I've never felt, one, the magnetism, and two, the safety and just the versatility of experiences that you can have here just in Panama. Even though it's a very small country, you get a very versatile range of things that you can do and experience here, and lifestyles that you can, if you're into ocean and hot, that's a thing. I love to surf, but I don't like the heat, which is why I live in the mountains here. It's a lot cooler and I can just drive down to go surf and come back. There's people that can't stand the chilliness of Boquete and they prefer to live in the ocean or in the city, and it works for them. They absolutely love Panama itself still. And if they want to come visit the mountains, it's here for them, and then they go back to their hot weather down there. So I would always encourage people to come. You realize how vibrant and open the people are here, whether they're local or expats. They're all welcoming. There's a lot of traction you can get here. It's also what is called the hub of the Americas. It's one of those places like Copa Airlines flies to Europe, it flies to the US, it flies to South America, Latin America. It's a really good hub if it is that you want to come here and you still want to hop to different parts of the world. This is a really good place to do that. That's also one of the things I wanted to do. So I've tried so many times to depict in photos and videos in explaining what this place is like, but I realized that after editing and putting out the video, it's like it still doesn't capture the essence of just being here, boots on the ground. Well, thanks for taking the opportunity to hear my story, and that is my story and I'm sticking to it. I hope to see you here in Panama at some point.